everybody, this is Ed Victor, and you are watching The Voice of Victor. Everything you need to know about the voiceover industry, even if you didn't ask. Anyway, we are up to episode number 7. That's right, there were 6 episodes prior. We're getting a lot of great feedback from around the world, and I invite you to go back and check out the first 6 shows. A lot of great content, and I appreciate all the comments and feedback. And again, if there's something you want to tell me, talk about, or just have a comment, you can write me direct at ed@edvictorvo.com. I do welcome your comments. Anyway, let's talk about episode number 7. Episode number 7 is about the business of the voiceover business. I have people say to me all the time, wow, what a cool job you have, what a great career. It seems like a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun, especially when you're working. And like I said, this is a business and you've got to treat it accordingly. So one of the most important aspects of being successful in the voiceover business is to market yourself. So one of the main elements of marketing is your website. That's right, your website, your web design. It's your calling card. It's how people will perceive you. I know it's an audio business that we're in, but you need to project a really good professional image out there, and your website is incredibly important. So on today's show, we're going to be talking with the Biondos from Biondo Design in Buffalo, New York, John Biondo and Denise Biondo. They've done my websites. I think this is the 3rd one they've worked on for me. They've also designed my mailers and my logos, and that's some of the things they do. And so without further ado, let's head to Buffalo, New York, and talk with the Biondos. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us on our show today. So anyway, I was going to say, where's John? Is he busy?
Yeah, he's busy programming and coding some things that I designed. He's in,
Oh, there he is.
Coffee.
Good morning.
There you are. Hi, John. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
How's everything in Buffalo? I thought maybe you were out shoveling snow.
We will be probably. The lake is like a mile that way, a mile and a half. So we'll see what we have to bear, I guess.
I feel bad. It's 90 degrees right now.
Don't feel bad. We're the.
Yeah, we don't know why we live here. No. Actually, pop that up.
No.
Well, I'm glad you're popped in to say hello.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
I'm on kind of a deadline, so.
Okay. Rogering that. Well, I'm sure we're in good hands with Denise, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure she'll.
I'll give you all the answers you need.
So let's get into this, Denise. Give us a little bit of background on Biondo Studio and how you formed it. Okay.
Well, I have a background in art, so during my younger years, I was always trying different industries. I lived in New York, and so I worked in fashion and advertising and publishing.
Okay.
And just various small businesses. So that's how I got a little bit of business skill. And I quit my corporate job, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. And I bought a copy of Adobe Flash just because I was curious. And for some reason, I really took to it. And I started animating things. And then the next step was I started drawing things and creating websites. And I lived in a neighborhood in Brooklyn where there were a lot of creative people. So I started just doing things for them to build up some work in a portfolio.
Okay.
And then I just started posting every morning an ad on Craigslist that I build websites. This was before, you could meet a murderer on Craigslist. And then one thing led to another, and people started hiring me, and then word of mouth got me regular work.
Okay.
And then I got my first voice actor website. It's a client that I still work with.
Okay.
And I didn't really know much about the industry at that time. But then she introduced me to Celia Segal.
I got it.
Who is a very well-known voice talent manager, and
she was my talent. She was my talent manager, and that's how you and I became one and hooked up. And that was at the beginning of your career, I think, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, that was probably, let's see, I moved back to Buffalo in around 2006. So I probably started working with Celia in about '04.
Right.
So,
Okay. I think I hooked
so,
up with her in '05. I think
okay.
that's when her and I connected and she started managing me, and that's how we met, which is very cool. So, I mean, it's safe to say then that you do specialize in voiceover websites. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that is probably the majority of our work. We have a couple other, avenues that we are well known in, but yeah, voiceover websites are a lot of what we do, more than half.
Well, that's great. So it's kind of a bread and butter for you. And you've been doing it for what, 15 years now?
About that, yeah.
We're talking about websites. That's kind of your main focus, but I know you also do other marketing. Why don't you tell us what other marketing services you offer voice people? We'll stick with voice people since this is a voiceover TV show.
Right. So, we do everything that matches whatever they need. Business cards, social media banners,
Logos.
postcards, newsletters, logos. Some people want illustration.
Okay.
John does some basic audio and video editing, nothing fancy. But just with people who need that kind of stuff. And then we register domain names, we do web hosting, SSL certificates, all those technical needs.
So pretty much from soup to nuts, if somebody didn't have a website, who is a voiceover looking to market themselves, you would take it from finding the domain name, if need be, all the way to logo design, creating everything they could possibly need to market themselves, correct?
Right, especially because people are intimidated by a lot of this technical stuff, and
For sure.
They, if they go to a site to buy stuff, they're always saying, "Oh, you need this, you need that." They don't know what they need. So a lot of times we like to just make sure they don't sign up for things and pay for things they don't need, and we just kind of take the pain
pressure
out of that process.
Right. It can be very complicated and a little intimidating. I agree. That's why it's like you guys have done 3 of my websites. From the beginning, you've updated it. We've redone it 2 more times. And then you also do all the servicing of it when I need to add things or I want to change pages or whatever, right? I mean, you're the total package.
And you have the ability to update it yourself too, which I know you're doing.
I love that. Are you kidding me? Every time I do a new spot, I'm able, with the way that you guys program the site, I don't even have to contact you. I just upload it right from YouTube. And within a minute, it's on the site. It's pretty awesome.
And the demo player, that's with all those demos that you have, those are pretty easy to upload.
15 demos of every category. I think I've covered every category. There's probably a few I don't know, but I've always learned that, if they want it, they're going to look for it. What would you say for a basic website for a voice actor? Describe to me the pages that are required.
Well, some people want a traditional multiple page website, and we really recommend that for like our clients that do both on camera and voice acting because it separates them. But if you want to know just the really basic essentials, I would say there's 3 things. And a lot of times we do a single page scrolling site, especially for people that are just getting started, because they're mobile friendly and they expand and contract to any device they're being viewed on. And people can just easily scroll from one section to another. So the 3 sections that I would say are absolutely the bare minimum would be a main landing screen with your name, obviously, what you do, hopefully in Google readable fonts, so for SEO purposes, and just something to brand it, to establish a look, to have some personality to it. So it's the first thing. The landing page is super important. That brands you with your personality, correct? I think so. There are some other schools of thought out there where they think that the demos should be on the main landing screen. And I understand where they're coming from, but we feel as long as everything's easy to find and you're on your phone and you just one scroll away, you get to the demos, that's easy enough.
Got it. To reference my own site, because it's evolved over the years since we started, I've found that, and the way that you've created my site is, it shows my picture, then it automatically sweeps up to the demo page. I mean, it's...
Oh, right. We have a listen now button that's there. Yeah.
Which is, to me, that's what people want. Okay, let me hear you now. And that's, what other pages are essential? So you've got your landing page, then you've got your demo page. What about a video page? Is that something that a lot of people are doing now?
Yeah, if they've been doing it for a little while and they have videos, we definitely add a video player that the one that you have that's hooked up to YouTube.
Yeah.
Where you just add a video to the playlist and automatically updates the website is one that we use for people a lot, and pretty much anyone can use that.
Okay, and then after a video page, a contact page is essential. What about a bio page? Is that important?
It's good for SEO to have a bio.
Okay.
I was going to say, can you tell me about, I know we're hopping around because there's so much information. SEO, what are we talking about here?
SEO is search engine optimization, and that is the ability to be found in Google or Yahoo or any of the search engines.
Okay.
So there are some things that help with that. One thing is to have readable text on your website. So Google fonts come in many different styles, and so any text that's in there can be kind of scanned by the search engines, having your demos clearly labeled, having a site title, tagline. Any of those things are kind of read by the bots.
I see. Because you changed, I know on my website, I keep referring to my website because I've learned so much working with you. You said the fonts had to be Google friendly. So the bots, so the search engines will pick up on it, right? Right.
Yeah, that's ideal. I mean, being the search engine is not a replacement for self-promotion. Okay. So, obviously just promoting yourself on social media and at conferences and having business cards and, all of these things, newsletters, all that stuff you do, Ed.
I've learned over the years. I mean, but here's the good news. When you do create something and you create a logo and a look, everything's got to be consistent because you've really got to brand yourself more now than ever, I think. And I've always done it. I have an advertising background, and, if people may not want to hire you today, but if you can, ingrain your brand in their name and just hit them. I hit them every month with something interesting, I guess.
Right.
But every once in a while, I'll send out my mailer that you designed, thank you, through Constant Contact. And no kidding, a year later, they will send me back. The way they answer me is they've saved my mailer. It happens every time I do an email blast that I don't get work right now, but eventually.
Give me a rundown of all the services you guys offer. I know we kind of touched on it, but if you could just give me a list from soup to nuts, what it is you guys offer.
We offer domain name registration, website hosting, email, all those technical services. Some basic audio and video editing just for people who need their current, media stuff just edited or clipped or whatever. Logo design. Anything important. Printed. So business cards, social media headers aren't printed, but postcards, newsletters. We've even done branded social, like Instagram post things in Photoshop so that people can have their logo whenever they do an Instagram post. We do illustration. Some really basic animation now.
Okay, wonderful.
Website design? Yeah, website design.
Yeah, website design. That was okay.
Let's see. Speaking of websites, is there, as far as updating your website, is there a standard rule of thumb? Do they get stale? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good to update it with new content whenever you have it. Okay. But I would say even if you don't, logging in every week or 2 weeks, updating the WordPress software, updating the plugins, testing your contact form, making sure your demo player is working right and demos download correctly. Just giving it a once over, every week or two, just to make sure that everything is in, ship shape.
It's funny. My first website we did together through Celia Segal, my first brand was the Big Gun.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? And
Yeah,
movie
poster.
The movie poster, where I actually went out to Hollywood and had a movie poster company create the logo design. And I think I ran with that for 5-6 years. And the reason I changed it was simply because there were so many shootings and killings. I thought it wasn't politically correct anymore. So that's why I changed it and I went with just me. I don't know if that was detrimental. People say I should have stuck with it, but I've evolved from there.
Right. We had the mic that looked like the gun, and then we animated all the letters in, and it was just...
It was a Dirty Harry knockoff.
Yeah.
And they actually in the poster, which I'll show, the prop gun I used was actually from the movie.
Oh, okay.
The guy that did the photography on that worked at Sony Pictures, and he got access to the prop gun. Isn't that crazy? I thought it was weird.
See how much fun creating your own branding can be?
Oh yeah. And the good news is I thought it did work. But enough about me. Let's go back to you. Now, here's a question. And I don't know if you get this a lot. Does it matter if your website has a .com, a .net, a .org, a .tv? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, I would say when at all possible, go with a .com. It's just the standard. That's what people expect. I would say stay away from a .org because those are for charities and nonprofits. If you really you can't find the name that you want in a .com, I would say a second choice would be a .net.
Okay.
And I would say when choosing a domain name, try to go with something that has either voiceover or VO in the domain name, just because that's going to help with your SEO as well. I got it. So, which leads me to a story about how Ed at Ed Victor was not available for me. My website domain is Ed Victor VO for voiceover. But a little weird story about what happened was people thought that edvictor.com was my domain name, which I really wanted, and it wasn't available. And so for 10 years, all my auditions were going to another Ed Victor who happened to be based in London. Well, this guy was nice enough to send me my auditions, and he'd say, "Here you go, mate. Good luck. I hope you get it. This went on for 10 years. And believe it or not, I got a lot of his email, and so we'd switch and we'd sign off with from the other Ed Victor. Here you go. Well, come to find out, this gentleman was he was a knighted guy. Really? He was one of the world's most famous literary agents. Incredibly famous. So, come to find out, he was visiting Palm Beach one day with his wife, and he said, wouldn't it be a gas? That's his words. Yeah. He's an old Brit. Wouldn't it be a gas if you and I met? And sure enough, we met up at the Breakers in Palm Beach, and he was delightful. And our wives met. We had a great evening, and we had drinks and shared stories and whatnot. And unfortunately, he passed away a couple years ago. Oh. And unfortunately, I tried to get his domain name, which sounds really crappy, but this is business. You got to do what you got to do, and you weren't able to get it. It wasn't available. I think his wife held on to it because she either took over the business, and I think they sold anyway. Regardless, it's still not available. I check every 6 months. Well, you know what? I mean, having VO on the end of your name is better for you anyway. So I think it's worked out pretty good. All right, well, let's wrap this up with, I want to be able to tell the viewers, is it expensive to work with you guys? I mean, what you guys have like a basic package for, people starting out? We do because we realize that it's very expensive for a voice actor to start out. They've got demos and classes and all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
So we do have a very simple site, like I was saying, a mobile-friendly WordPress
Okay.
site that has 3 sections, and people can get started for under $1,000.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and the thing is, it's always good to start small because when you're dealing with WordPress, sections can be added in. So
Sure.
you don't want to start off with all these sections that you don't really have content for and you have to pay for. So start small, and then, it's amazing the sites that we've, designed that have grown over the years as
Right.
the career grows.
Awesome. Okay. So a basic site, 3 or 4 pages, under $1,000.
Yeah, sections, because those are the
Sections.
single page scrolling ones. You know how
That's
yours is all in
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Yeah. Mine scrolls. I love my site.
I
You know,
like your design too.
the only thing I update is, the demos, I guess, because it's all pretty much there. So,
Right.
yeah. And I guess that's everything, unless you got anything else to add that we didn't cover.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that's it. You know where to find me, biondostudio.com, if anyone wants to go and
Oh, I
take
was
a
going to
look.
say, how does somebody get a hold of you? It's Biondo no s.com.
Right.
Okay. And Biondo, Biondo. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Biondo Studio. Okay. Well, there you have it. Denise, thank you so much for
Thank you,
taking
Ed.
the
Thanks
time.
for having us on. And
Great.
I guess we'll talk to you soon.
We will talk to you soon. Best regards to John. Make sure if he's shoveling snow, he doesn't kill himself. All right. Au
Okay.
revoir.
Enjoy the pool. Bye.
I will. Bye-bye.
And that wraps up this week's episode of The Voice of Victor. I'd like to thank the Biondos for joining us today. I'd also like to thank Orlex, our sponsor. If there's something you need for your recording studio, anything sound deadening, any accessories, go to www.orlex.com. So from the entire Voice of Victor team, that being Gracie and myself, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.